Hi, I'm Victoria Bond, and welcome to Mum's Time to Shine, how to connect to your soul's purpose and pursue it without sacrificing quality time and connection with your family. Today we have Marnie Barranco joining us. Marnie is an Access Consciousness facilitator, a business coach, a conscious child, conscious parent coach, and a mum and an entrepreneur. Thank you for joining us today, Marnie.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, and I've been following you for a little while, and what I was just saying before is you and I have such a similar life that we've been through. Like, everyone has a different life, but as a child, I felt different. And I knew I was different, and everyone used to say, wow, Victoria is this very eccentric or avant-garde. I had this shy part of me, but I never felt like I quite fitted in. I knew there was more, and I knew it's like I had this purpose, this really deep desire. And I used to say to my friends, but don't you think it's weird that we're here? Don't you feel like there's this deep purpose? And they would look at me like I was mental and say, no, Victoria.
Yeah.
So like, okay, let's go have a drink then, you know. And also my mum used to say to me, Victoria, just shush, you know. Yes, yeah, okay, you're fine. But she thought I was weird, and she even says now, Victoria, yeah, you were a bit different. So anyway, I was brought up Catholic, and I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I am a mum, and I've been through all these different things, and you are very similar. So what I want to know is a little bit about your story, but also, did you have an aha moment like I did? I literally had this massive aha moment from asking one question that changed my life. Or has this been a gradual process to get where you are today?
That's a great question. And I would say it's actually a little bit of both, because it has been a process, and there's been, I would say, even a few aha moments along the way that just, you know, those moments that it's something shifts and changes so fast, and after that everything is different. I've had a lot of those, and it's sort of like makes me think of a car driving in the dark and the headlights, and you only see to here, but it's, you know, distance you go, you see a little farther. So each one of those ahas, each one of those sort of wake up moments, like, actually allowed me then to see farther and choose something else. So it's been a combination. But very similar to you, I felt like the weirdest kid on the planet. I remember being at school and watching all of the kids with their little groups of friends on the playground, and just going, I don't really understand this friend thing. Like, what is so fun about, you know, getting together like little girls and doing their little giggly whatever and brushing each other's hair? And I was just like, I don't get this. And that was one of many things where I just felt really strange. And I remember as a teenager coming home one day and literally just going into the room and throwing myself across the bed and just crying and going, why can't I be normal? So there was always that space of not really getting that I fit in. And what I really chose with that is to try as much as possible to take the chaos of me, the too loud of me, the too big of me, the too fast of me that everyone was always trying to make smaller, and to make it smaller as much as I could. So I had an easier sense, like, navigating the world. And, you know, I did it fairly well. And I would say one of the aha moments, my second son, who's 16 now, he was actually 2. And it makes me cry when I tell this story every time. But I was sleeping, and for about 2 or 3 weeks, he would come into my bedroom about 4 o'clock in the morning, and he would just take my arm and he'd gently nudge it, and he'd go, Mama, it's a beautiful day to wake up. Oh. And, you know, at first it was like, oh my God, it's 4 in the morning. And then, oh my God, you're so cute. And about the 3rd day into it, there was like this energy. The words were exactly the same. He kept saying the same words to me every single morning. Oh. But the energy was, oh my God, I am so asleep. Like, it was just this whole download of how much all of that bigness of me, that chaos, that crazy, that not normal, that's actually who I be, how much I had constricted and made it small, and just became the walking dead, just trying to get through a day. And that was an invitation to me. It was like I looked at that face and went, wow, I just got invited to something else. And sorry. That was I'm going to choose to something else.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you said, when you ask the question, then all of a sudden things start showing up. That was very much a point in my life where I made a choice of, I don't even know what this is going to look like or be like, but it's time to wake up and it's time to be me again.
It's nearly like it becomes so uncomfortable.
Yes.
That your essence or your being is screaming, you know.
Yeah.
And I quite often will say, when I was going through what I went through, I had, like, my body was shutting down every afternoon for 3 hours, and I couldn't even look after my kids. I had what we call postnatal depression, and I had started having energy and spirit talking to me left, right, and centre, and I was going, what is happening? But I still knew, I had that burning desire of, I know that I'm going to make a difference. I know I'm more than this. I know I'm special, and I know that I can create whatever I want. But I've always been told that, no, you can't. You know, like, I've got great parents. My parents are very human, and, you know, they have told me, you know, fit in, work hard, do this, do that. And that's like all of us. We've learned to do that. But at this point, I had nowhere else to go but to go up. So when I started asking questions, go, okay, what do you want from me? And what can I truly create? Because I'm not what you call academic or clever or anything like that. But I knew, my husband always says, you are one of the most cleverest people I've ever met. And I'm like, but you're the clever one. And he goes, no, you are. And I'm like, wow, so he can see it. And so when I started asking those questions, when my light was so out, and like you were saying with your son coming in, you know, and I'm looking at my son going, I don't have a light. I'm done. I don't want to exist anymore. So I don't want to get out of bed. I want to sink down. And it was hard. But when I had that aha moment, and I decided to commit to my life and to be the true be I am, you know, like you were saying, and turn up, my whole entire life changed. So you basically embraced yourself.
Yes, and what I love about what you just said is it was a choice. And the thing that when we're stuck in whatever it is, the depression, like you said, or basically for me, it was trying to be normal when I knew I wasn't, and being miserable with that. Choice changes everything. And the willingness to ask a question and go, I don't have any idea how or the what or the why or the anything, but I'm choosing something else because I know something else has to be possible. That is such a powerful thing that it literally starts to change everything. And anybody can make the choice. Anybody can make a choice.
No matter where you're at. And no matter whether you are like $60,000 in debt, or whether you're a multimillionaire but you're miserable, whatever it is, you can choose. You know, my mum was brought up with the saying, you've made your bed, now you lie on it.
Oh, yes. I know that one.
And, you know, my great-grandmother would say that, and my mum has done that. She's always said that. You make your bed, you lie in it. But the thing is, also with some of the ways being brought up, it's about you marry for life, you know, and if you get divorced, or if you're not perfect by any means, then you're a bad person. And I think we have that kind of the collected consciousness of that as well, that's embedded into our brain. So I've found that I've had to release a lot of that and embrace my whole self and love the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever that may mean as well.
Yeah, very much. Yes, I've been divorced twice, so I know that, and I have 3 sons, different dads, you know, and that's like got the horrible, you know, horrible mother, horrible person connotation to it. And for a long time, well, actually in my second marriage, I stayed way longer than I wished to be there for a lot of that reason. I can't do this again. That's a horrible thing, you know, to get divorced twice. So I stayed for a long time. But to actually get to the place of being able to let go of the judgment of myself and look at what's actually going to create the life that I desire. And it's funny because I know with a lot of my kids, mothers and fathers, I'm a paradox in their world because there's all the judgment of my choices, but yet they also see something that they're very curious about because it's something that they see with me and my kids. And it's like, that shouldn't be. They should be troubled. They should all be a mess. you know, so, but I have fun with that, just aware of people's points of view and not making them significant.
So women in relationships that are not happy, breaking up and choosing more, and how do you step out of that fear of, if I leave my husband, that's my kid's father, that's my house, because I won't have enough money for a mortgage. How am I going to support them? And I think that a lot of mothers probably stick into relationships. They stay in that for that. So what would your advice be if someone's in that state of mind now and they're like, I want to create more, but I'm not connected to my husband anymore?
Yes. So there are a few things. One of my very, very favorite tools that I've gotten from Access Consciousness is a little tool called Interesting Point of View. And I use this with relationships and with my kids because it's all of the things we were talking about, like the way that you're raised or the points of view about divorce or just all of that stuff that's in our society that we were taught as we grew up. Those things, we don't even realize we believe them or buy into them, but we do. And so when we realize, say we're in a relationship and we're not happy, we would like to choose something else, even if we're not conscious of it, all of those points of view of, well, all those things you just said, they're there. And they actually make us like freeze where we can't even move forward. So one of the things I would say to start with is to play with interesting point of view. So every time you go, well, if I leave, I'm not going to have any money. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. If I leave, this is going to be really hard on my kids. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Whatever comes up, say that. And what it does is it actually takes that thing that you are wholeheartedly committed to believing is the truth, and you turn it on its head and you go, oh, it's just an interesting point of view. Wow. And it brings you to the space of like the story of the elephant, you know, if you're looking from the trunk or you're looking from the flank or you're looking at the backside, or, you know, there's a million descriptions you could give of the elephant depending where your eyes are. And when you do interesting point of view, you get out of the one you're locked in on. And it's like, oh, if that wasn't true, then what else would I know and what else is possible? And that's the other question I would say is, what else is possible? What else is possible here that I haven't even considered? And just that, because we do the autopilot thing in our lives, we buy the points of view and then we just do this like autopilot and we don't even think and we just keep replaying the same patterns and the same thoughts and the same actions and we get stuck in it. But if we'll play with interesting point of view, or if we'll say, what else is possible that I haven't even considered, then all of a sudden it's like you just disrupted the pattern and now something else can show up.
So it's actually working on the brain. It's actually stopping you. We talk about breaking cycles, don't we? You know, abusive family, and then the next cycle they do this, the next cycle they do that, and then one day it's completely broken. So this is a quick way of interrupting the pattern for yourself, because let's face it, who do we judge the most?
Ourselves.
I actually remember being about 15 to 18, and I vividly remember crying I used to cry every night when I was about 15, and I remember thinking, as long as everybody is okay, I can beat myself up and no one will ever know because they don't know what I think.
Wow, yeah.
I think back to that sometimes and I get really emotional. I think, oh my God, I killed myself that day for years ahead. I made a contract nearly with myself that it was okay for me to suffer as long as everybody else was okay. And when I look back, I now know it should have been the complete opposite. And, you know, I can honestly say now, I feel like the 10-year-old that I was when I was 10. And I say that in my, I do quite a lot of workshops and stuff, and I say, because I am an Access Consciousness facilitator, so I do the bars and use the tools, and I say, I feel like I'm 10. I feel that love and that excitement, and I wake up and I've got joy and that tingling butterfly feeling. When was the last time that a lot of these mums had that butterfly feeling of magic?
Yes.
Who's to say magic's not real?
Yeah.
It's only because you stop believing. So it's amazing how that conditioning from such a young age to being an adult. When I look at my 20s, I had a lot of fun, but I was not happy, not 1 inch. And now I have that humble, beautiful humming.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. Well, and what you said about sacrificing, I mean, historically, that's been the role women are to play. You sacrifice for the good of all, right? Whether it's in the relationship, whether it's you're the mom, and so you're supposed to sacrifice and give everything up for your kids, and you no longer count because it's all about them. And then you cannot not have resentment when you live in that space. Then you resent being a mom, or you resent the relationship, or you resent the whatever it is. And then you beat yourself up because why am I so selfish and I need to stop resenting and blah, blah, blah. But as long as we buy into that point that we are to sacrifice ourselves, that is our role and that is what we're supposed to do, we are so trapped in resentment and we can't get out of it until we actually make the choice of, you know what, I count too. What if I started actually including me in the creation of my life, not just everyone else?
And that opens up magic for the whole entire family.
Everyone.
It was just recently, I literally said to my husband, look, you're the clever one. I've been waiting for you to create a business or to do something cool. And I was actually going to be his cheerleader, so to speak. And I had my little salon for a long time. And, I could go as far as I wanted with that as well because, I'm quite ambitious. And then one day I woke up and I went, I've been using tools for a while. And I went, I'm not going to wait for him anymore. I've been waiting for years, encouraging him, like, it's up to you, honey, what you want to do, but why don't you do a business? Because I know how successful you can be. And I realized he doesn't want to. And not only that, I want to. So I stepped up and I said, oh, by the way, babe, I'm just letting you know, I'm not going to wait for you anymore. I'm going to step up and I'm going to create. And he just went, great. Does that mean you're going to become famous and make lots of money so I can work on my car? And I was like, oh. I said, who knows? We'll see what happens. But it's about not sacrificing yourself, not waiting, not judging what your partner wants. And if you step into yourself, not worrying about if your husband's going to step away from you.
Yes.
He's either going to join you or not. And,
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said earlier about you made the choice to commit to your life. And that's exactly what it is. It's like when I'm choosing to commit to my life, I'm actually willing for anybody to stay. I'm willing for anybody to leave. I'm willing for anyone to choose whatever they want to choose, but I'm not going to stop because what if I choose this and then this happens? What if I do that and then this happens? We stop ourselves with what ifs that, may or may not happen rather than committing and being willing to have it all and lose it all.
Being willing, yeah. A lot of my clients actually say to me, I'm worried. They say, I know this sounds stupid, but I'm worried that if I become more conscious and I start living like this more and being aware, that my husband won't fit into that and he'll leave. I was lucky I've never had that worry because so be it, whatever. But, you just say, well, your husband can come with you. Stay connected. So which brings me to another question. How do we stay connected to our husbands? Is there any actual tricks? Because even, last night my husband came in, I'm doing some work on the computer, and he gave me a hug, and I thought, oh, that's really nice, because I'm usually the hugger. But I can go days, literally days, without even talking to him because he finishes late, I work that night, or we've got a 3 and a 5-year-old. So how do you keep that alive, that connection?
So, one thing I would say is it's really interesting, back to the points of view, how many points of view we have about what connection is, about what a relationship should look like and how it should be. And the fairy tale thing of, if this is actually a good relationship, it should look like this. And that causes so much suffering in people's worlds because that's actually not true, the fairy tale anywhere. I mean, it's not true anywhere. And when we decide it's supposed to look a certain way and then ours doesn't, we judge them, we judge us, we judge them, we judge us, everybody's miserable. So one of the greatest things to me is to actually let go of any expectations, projections, decisions you have about how he should be, how you should be, how this should be, and actually just give it total space to be whatever it is. I mean, there was a study that they did it on men, but I think women do the same thing. But it was basically like, what percentage of the time in a conversation with people who are in relationship are men actually listening? And the stat was like 7%. Well, we've been told that's bad. Why aren't you listening to me? You should listen to everything I have to say. But what if 7% is actually what we do? What if we all really listen 7% of the time? And what if that's not wrong? And what if we just were so willing to choose to let go of expectations and just daily say, what can I be grateful for today about me? Start it with you. What are you grateful for about you? And then that energy of gratitude, you start to have it for you. Now what can I be grateful for about my partner? What is it they contribute every day? I mean, what is it that I'm so grateful for? And then with my kids, and just let that gratitude just go. And then all of a sudden those expectations, they're like, there's no thing there. They don't even stand in the space of gratitude. It changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah. And, we're going all funny. Can you see me?
I can. Am I frozen?
It's a lot of.
I see you in everything. The sound is good too.
Oh, so everything's fine?
Yeah, it is on this side.
Okay. Well, we'll keep talking and hope for the best because I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is I actually say, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for my bed. And that's how I have to, sorry, I'm just looking at my screen here, it's gone all funny. That's how I actually have to start, because I used to be, excuse my language, but I used to be a real bitch in the morning. I used to be like, if you wake me up, I'm going to yell at you. You know, like if you make a noise that's louder than a footstep, I'm going to scream. And I used to swear at my husband. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing to even like think back to that. But yeah, starting off with that gratitude for yourself and just even your surroundings, and starting off small is a really good step, isn't it?
Yes, and the thing, as you said earlier, we judge ourselves the most, and it's so easy for us to look at the times we did yell at our partner, or we yelled at our kids, or whatever, the things, that the long list of stuff that we like to bring up and beat ourselves over the head with, of where we haven't measured up. And the thing about gratitude is gratitude and judgment, it's like oil and water. They don't mix, and they don't actually exist at the same time.
Yeah.
So when I'm being grateful for me, then I'm not judging me. And I just wonder if we actually woke up and had one day where we got up in the morning and said, you know what, today, just for today, I'm not going to judge me. I'm not going to judge my body. I'm not going to judge anything about me. What would be different in our world?
Exactly. And same with our kids, really, like rather than judging the behavior of a child, to actually kind of look at it and see what energy they're trying to tell us, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, and the interesting point of view tool is amazing for kids. I mean, it's so, your 2-year-old's throwing a tantrum, and your first response is, okay, I don't want to be embarrassed. We're in the grocery store, whatever's going on. I need to make them stop. I need to get this under control. What is wrong with them? All the stuff that starts to go through. And if we just would be willing to go, okay, they shouldn't be having a tantrum in the store right now. What's the matter with them? Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Really just diffuse everything you've decided about it. All of a sudden the space opens up. I was recently on an airplane, and on this side of me was a mom and a son, and on this side of me was a mom and a son. And the sons both had very similar, they were just, like really excited to be on the plane, also very intense, very loud, very just whatever. And this mama, you could feel the constriction in her world. She didn't want to piss anyone off. She didn't want her kid to be too much for anybody. She was just, and the more she did this irritation and snappiness and whatever, the more he escalated and got like, even over the top, more than he was. And then on this side, the mom was way just chill and just like, total space, and would just ask a question. And in 5 minutes, the kid was completely chilled out. And so, and it's not that we're responsible for our kids' behavior, and what space can we be to actually contribute to the space that they be?
Yeah. And I actually find myself, even though I teach these tools and stuff, I find myself going, CJ, why did you do that? And then I stop, I walk away, because I'm not saying that kind of to him, I'm just kind of saying it near him. And then I walk away and I breathe and I sit him down. And he might have done something, oh my gosh, so messy. But I'm going, Christian, what's going on, mate? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, because you know, he's an energetic sponge. I know he functions at a different rate and he's a special kid. But yeah, just letting him have that space and being present and talking to him. And I even notice my husband, he is such a great dad, but every now and then, because we are adults and we're busy, I even find that him and myself sometimes mishear our son. Our son's trying to give us something and we're like, yeah, it's not yours, and you take it off them. It's like parents need to stop, simmer down, and actually start listening a little bit more to, you know, and letting the kid be the space, like you say.
Yeah. The willingness to be present with whatever is, just whatever is, the willingness to be present. And with all of that, there's such a thing that we so try to get the parenting thing right. We try to do it right. We don't want to do it wrong, you know, and there's just so much around all of that. And one of the greatest freedoms for me was, you know what, I'm willing to do this wrong. I'm willing to screw this up. I'm willing to do this wrong. And that took me out of the, I've got to get this right. I must get this right. I've got to do a good job. I've got my kids. I've got to make sure they turn out. I don't want to scar them. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And that crap that just runs, just like, you know what? I'm willing to be a bad parent. I'm willing to do it wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. And, you have to do what's right for you. Eh?
Yes.
Yes. And I have a lot of friends and they are really worried about what people think about their parenting and their children's behaviour. My child for the last 3 weeks has had a tantrum every day in public. And a couple of times I've picked myself up on going, looking around going, and I just thought, you know what, I don't care what people are thinking, and who am I to even presume what they're thinking? They might be looking at me thinking, oh, that poor mum, instead of actually thinking, oh, that's a terrible, you know, how dare her let her kid treat that way. I don't care what they're thinking. So I just think, okay, there's something about this kid that I need to connect with, because why is he having these massive tantrums? And I say to my friends that care about their kids' behaviour, look, he's not hurting anybody. Let him be, you know? Just let him be. And they find it very hard to let go of that, what people think.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, the other part too, though, is to be willing to do what works for you. And that's that whole thing that's different about parenting. It's not just about the kid. It is actually about me and the kid. It's actually about both. And so, you know, I have a son who often, less now, but for a long time, he would choose unhappy so often, cranky unhappy, just, you know, suck the energy out of a room unhappy. And it actually doesn't work for me. And I would just say to him, you know what, you can choose whatever you want to choose. It's just choice, but I'm not interested in being around you. So I'm going to go do stuff over here. And if you want to choose something else, just come let me know. And it wouldn't be long before he would turn it around. But I was willing to like pull my energy out of his world and say, this doesn't actually work for me. This is not fun. So you do your thing. Let me know if you want to do something different. And so it is that always being aware of what actually is going to work for me and work for my child. And so it's being aware of your kid, but it's also being aware of you. And it's being in the question of, okay, what can we create together that works for both of us, that works for all of us?
Yeah. And in my experience, the energy that I'm portraying, if I'm running around going, I'm so busy.
Yes.
My son starts going, in different ways, playing up, so to speak. But yeah, it's really funny because my husband's real laid back and lovely, and he'll say, oh, great, mama's home, so now it's a bit of chaos. And I actually realised, oh my goodness, my urgency to get things done sometimes really is what is, my children are like going into this mode, because it's nearly like I'm pushing this energy into the house. So now I'm like, who cares if the washing's not done? Who cares if this is this? And I thought, I need to change my energy because this isn't working for my kids. So sometimes we've got to, I suppose, look at ourselves as well. Like you said, it's a connection between both of you.
Yes. And I love to ask, you know, what could I do or be different here? You know, like even with the laundry, it's like if you come home and you go, all of this stuff isn't done, but I don't really like what happens or gets created when I go into the frantic of trying to do it all. I wonder what else is possible. I wonder what else could I do here? I wonder maybe someone could come help me, or maybe we could do this different. But when you're willing to instead of going to the autopilot, ask the question, what
Yeah.
could I do to be different? Then you become aware of things you weren't considering before. And, oh, there's other options where we can have this work. And it can be easy for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool. Would you believe that half an hour is up already?
I was just actually glancing, that went very, very fast.
That actually felt like 5 minutes. I don't even know what happened there. It's a glitch. My computer's still glitching, so I'm hoping this comes out. And if it's not coming out, then I hope people just listen to it and the audio is fine. So Marnie, you are going to give us a free gift today. Is it going to be a surprise gift?
It is going to be a surprise gift. So it will be awesome, whatever the surprise is.
We don't have a surprise gift yet. So you guys make sure you click on the link to receive Marnie's free gift. And I'm sure it will be a massive contribution in your life. Marnie, where can we find you to find out more? Because I know you do coaching and you do workshops and you do all sorts of stuff. I know you're also on YouTube because I've watched you. So how can we find you?
So my website is actually marnieb.com, and Marnie is MARNIEBE.com. So that's my website. You can find, you can connect with me directly there. You can find information on classes and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I actually wish we had more time because
me too.
I have so much to talk to you, but hopefully we can get together in the future and maybe even do a little live or
I'm in. That sounds like fun. I would love to.
That would be lots of fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you in the future, and we're looking forward to seeing what more you can create, what more you do create, I should say.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. See you later. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.